everyone, it's your girl Jot and welcome to my February recap. Everything that I watched and read all throughout the month of February. This month I watched some anime that I loved, some that were highly recommended but I unfortunately did not like, a couple reads that I think are going to be peak fiction, and 3 continuing series that I definitely want to keep talking about. I finally finished watching Fruits Basket. It's been a while and I should have finished it a long time ago, but now I want to share my thoughts.
Meow, meow.
Meow.
So let's start with anime. First, we got Fruits Basket, seasons 2 and 3. Season 1 I watched in November, but season 2 and 3 of Fruits Basket moves the story from a comforting slice of life into the deeper emotional core of the Soma family curse. Season 2 focuses on uncovering the painful past of many of the Zodiac members, while Toru becomes more determined to break the curse that binds them to Akito. Secrets of the family's trauma, isolation, and manipulation begin to surface, and the emotional bond between characters deepen, especially between Toru, Kyo, and Yuki. Season 3, the final season, brings a long-running conflict of its conclusion. The truth about the curse and Akito's role is fully revealed. Characters confront their past, and the Soma family finally faces the possibility of freedom. The season resolves the romantic storyline and centers on healing, forgiveness, and choosing your own future. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Like, I get it now. Like, I didn't get it in season 1 because season 1 was just so slice of lifey and I didn't really care for it. But season 2 and 3, just building on the stories of the characters, giving each character like an arc or like a time to be the center, but then Toru still being obviously the main character and a parent through all of their lives, just was like, it was so good. I keep thinking about Fruits Basket and I already want to rewatch it. It really is about forgiveness and healing, and I think what stood out for me is the depiction of different types of love. I actually really liked Yuki in this. I liked Toru and Kyo, but Yuki and Toru's like relationship was low-key kind of my favorite just because it was something different. I love the romance and you know, having your person, but to see like a more platonic love is a bit refreshing in my opinion. I think I've just seen so many like lovey-dovey stuff that it's hard to find platonic love pictured. And this one wasn't just a platonic love, but also like a motherly love. Like even in the beginning, you know that Yuki really cares for Toru, and though it could look kind of romantic, it never felt fully forced like that. I think it's also because even though it's like sometimes Yuki it felt like he was a little flirty, it wasn't like serious in rivalry where I felt like it was a love triangle. Yuki also finds friendship as well as romantic relationship in a very like what I think is kind of a natural way. And I just like overall like all the different relationships, though Akito and Suguri is a little questionable, and though I would have a hard time forgiving what Akito did, but Toru just has such a kind soul, so I get why all was forgiven, even though I would hold a grudge. I'd be like a little bit salty for a long time, but that's just me, and I should be more like Toru. At the end of the day, Fruits Basket gets all the accolades, all the thumbs ups and recommendations, because I get it. It was just very cathartic, especially with like finding out more about the curse. Like it was just going to happen like that. This was going to be the last cycle, whether Toru was in their life or not, which is kind of crazy to think, like, because it builds up, oh, like there has to be something, and usually there is like this big thing that happens that, oh, like we are finally done, but here they were going to pretty much be let go at a certain point, but now they all feel pretty good, all of them finding some form of love. I just can't stop thinking about it, and I just love Fruits Basket. It's definitely on one of my top animes, and I'm going to be recommending it, and I get it. Next, we have Paradise Kiss, which is the same creator as Nana. I haven't watched Nana, but this one was recommended to me in our Discord. So Paradise Kiss follows Yukari, a high school student trapped in the expectation of academic success and a rigid life path. Her life changes when she meets a group of eccentric fashion design students who run the brand Paradise Kiss. They invite her to to model for their graduation fashion show, introducing her to a world of creativity, independence, and self-expression. As Yukari grows closer to the group, especially the charismatic and complicated Georgie, she begins to question what she truly wants in life. The story explores coming-of-age themes, first love, ambition, and the tension between dream and reality. Paradise Kiss, I already knew I was gonna like the art style, and it was gorgeous, especially as someone who always watched Project Runway. The character design, the look of this anime was just beautiful. It's timeless. I also like that this is a 1 season complete. I believe it was 11 seasons. It is a more mature storyline, though the love here is more of a toxic love. I low-key kind of liked it. I think it is another refreshing take on just like relationships, because there isn't as many toxic love that I've watched. A lot of the things I've watched is more like the lovey-dovey high school stuff. But I also like that Yukari is more of a stronger character. Georgie, toxic as fuck, but I couldn't help but like love him. Like, he was just so charismatic, and he was just like really honest. He's like, this is what it's gonna be like being with me, and you know, like, I'm not like a good guy. Yukari couldn't help it. Like, it's that bad boy vibe. I like how it focuses on her coming of age, growing into who she is and what she wants. I just really enjoyed this anime and will be recommending it to anybody who wants a more mature love story. Next one is a movie. It is a romance movie. I watched this on Valentine's Day with my partner. It's called 5 Seconds Per Centimeter. It tells a quiet story about distance and time through 3 connected chapters. So it is one movie when you watch it, or when I watched it, but technically there's like 3 like episodes, so it's like a mini series in a sense. The film follows childhood friends who grow close but get separated when one has to move away. Despite their attempts to maintain their connection through letters and visits, life gradually pulls them further apart. Across the 3 segments, the film follows how memories, missing time, and emotional distance shape Taki's life as he grows older. The story reflects on how relationships can slowly drift apart, like cherry blossoms falling at 5 centimeters per second. This is the same creator as Your Name, Suzune, and Weathering With You. Visually, it's gorgeous. It's like up there with those other movies. He always does a great job. But for me, the story wasn't my favorite. I didn't really like it. Like, I get that they were showing that you can have a young love, it not be your last love, which is totally realistic. But I think for me, the second part of the 3-part movie kind of lost me in interest. For the first part, we have them like falling in love. Second part, one of them moves away, and they kind of change who the perspective of the story is, and it's in like this outside third character that likes the main guy. You still see him like trying to have a relationship or like contact the main girl, but it just like felt disconnected for me. Yeah, I just don't know how to say, like, what else to say about it. It just wasn't my cup of tea. I didn't really like it. Visually, it's nice, and it's short. So if you're interested in it and you love Your Name and like all those other movies, you know, check it out if you want to. But I personally will not be recommending this. I think I'd rather watch something else. The 4th anime is from my anime watch club. My anime watch club is part of my Discord community, and we watch an anime for that month, and I host some watch parties and we have discussion about it, and it's just like nice to watch an anime with other people who want to watch with you, so that's always been fun. For February, we watched Kamisama Kiss, both seasons 1 and 2. Kamisama Kiss follows Nanami, a homeless high school girl who unexpectedly becomes the land god of a local shrine. With the help of Tomoe, a powerful fox yokai who reluctantly becomes her familiar, Nanami learns how to perform her duties as a deity while navigating both the human and spirit worlds. Season 1 focuses on Nanami adjusting to her new role and building relationships with the yokai and the other gods. And Season 2 deepens the romance and expands Tomoe's background, revealing his complicated past and how it connects to Nanami's fate. The season develops their emotional bond while exploring themes of loyalty, sacrifice, and destiny. I had very high expectations for Kamisama Kiss. I've heard it recommended so many times. I tried twice. I watched the first season once, and then I forget what happened, but I didn't watch season 2. Anime Watch Club wanted to watch it, so I was like, okay, like, let's watch it. Maybe if I watch it with other people, I'll like it more. But I don't think it's an anime for me. It's just not one that I really enjoyed. It might be because it's like older, but no, I don't even want to say that because there is older anime that I like. Or like it was just like it felt cringy for me in a way that I didn't feel like it was cringy and like I'm kicking my feet. It was more cringe of like, oh, girl. Nanami and Tomoe's relationship and how I interpreted it was like they were falling in love because of, especially on Nanami's side in the beginning, is because like this person's taking care of me and I don't want to be abandoned. So they both have like abandonment issues, and that like this is the first person here. I'm kind of convinced that if, oh my gosh, what's that snake familiar? If he was there first, it might be him. But Tomoe is a great looking character, and maybe I've just missed stuff, but I think that just turned me off through the whole show. And like Tomoe was also just trying to do everything because he didn't want to be abandoned. He was abandoned by the original land god. Watching season 1 and 2, and I kind of lost interest, so I don't know how much I actually watched. I'm not gonna recommend it. I think there's a couple other romances that I prefer watching with like something similar, but I do love looking at Tomoe, so there's that. And I just wanted to mention I am watching a ton of seasonal anime. I always have a video at the end of the season, so watch out for that for like I think around April, because we're ending some of the series this month, the month of March. Just quickly, my standouts for the winter anime, having watched probably like 3/4 of it, is Journal with Witch, Sentenced to be Hero, and I kind of have a tie of You and I Are Polar Opposites and In the Clear Moonlight Dusk. We're going through the manga. These were all the mangas that I read. We'll start with, okay, so let's start with Shortcake. It is a completed series. It is the same mangaka as A Sign of Affection. So Shortcake follows Ten, a shy girl who moves into a boarding house while attending a distant high school. Living with several boys her age, Ten slowly comes out of her shell and begins experiencing friendship and romance for the first time. At the center of the story is her relationship with Riku, a quiet and thoughtful boy who gradually becomes important to her. The series focuses on gentle coming-of-age moments, emotional growth, and soft romance within the warm atmosphere of the shared dorm life. This was like a pretty short series. I think it was like 60 chapters and I think 10 volumes. It has more picture than dialogue, so it's such a quick read. I will be recommending it. It's great for if you just want a short romance that isn't like your typical dancing around of like, do I like her or not? Because there's a confession pretty early on. There's still miscommunication, don't get me wrong. Like that's pretty much always gonna be the case in a lot of romance. Ten is a more straightforward kind of girl, but overall it was something that I can easily read and be done with. Will I pick it up again? Probably not, but I think it's like a great weekend romance kind of read. For stories, I started some pretty good bangers. First off, I wanted to start with Demons of the Shadow Realm. That one's upside down. So this is from the same mangaka as Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Definitely very similar art style. You can tell it is by the same mangaka. The characters kind of look the same, not gonna lie. But this one, I couldn't stop putting it down. I think this is going to be the next big thing. Demons of the Shadow Realm follows Yuru, a boy who lives a simple life in a secluded mountain village, while his twin sister, Asa, is kept apart from everyone else under strict rules that no one fully explained to him. When unusual events begin to disturb the village, Yuru starts to realize that strange supernatural forces exist alongside the natural world. These forces are connected to powerful paired spirits known as Sugai. Hopefully I said that right. Sugai are mysterious beings that form bonds with certain people, slowly uncovering the strange rules and hidden powers connected to the Sugai and the role people like him might play in that world. The series blends mystery, action, and humor while gradually revealing how these spirits' bonds work and why they matter. This one, you gotta read it because I had some expectations where the story was going and it went in a different way that I did not expect, especially in the first volume. And I think when you watch it and when the anime comes out, because you better add this to your anime list because it is high above on mine, other than Witch Hat Atelier. Watch my January video if you want to see my thoughts on Witch Hat Atelier. But this one, I was just so intrigued. The world building, already gonna pick up the next, I think there's 7 more volumes or 8 volumes, because I think it's only up to volume 13. The fantasy, the adventure is there. This one is a highly recommend. Second manga I picked up this month was Land of Lustrous. I read volumes 1 and 2. The reason I started this one was I think I was on my anime list and I was looking through the manga, the top manga, and this was there. It was a completed series, so more reason to pick it up because I was like, oh, my library has it, so I might as well read it. Land of Lustrous takes place in the distant future where immortal gemstone beings defend themselves against a mysterious enemy called the Lunarians who try to capture them. The story centers around our main character, Phospholite, or Phos, one of the youngest and most fragile gems. Wanting to be useful but constantly failing at assigned task, Phos begins a journey that gradually changes both their body and identity. As the story progresses, it follows themes of purpose, transformation, memory, and the psychological cost of immortality. One of the draws for me for this manga was the artwork. I loved how it looked. Like, oh my gosh, wait, right there. Like, this is a Lunarian, but it's just beautifully drawn. I can't take my eyes off of it, and the story was pretty interesting. The same feeling I have Fruits Basket when you're like uncovering all the zodiacs or wanting to see who the zodiac is the same feeling I have when we're looking at the new gemstones that get introduced. I think in volume 2, let me see. In volume 2, they kind of have a little like picture of all of them. It is sometimes hard to figure out which character is which. I wish this was in color, but obviously this is a manga and not like a digital webtoon or something where it's usually colored. It sometimes was a little bit harder to remember which hair went which character. Some of them were easier than others. So far, solid start. I love the mystery. I love Phos. Phos is just that girl or that main character where they're just trying to do their best and they just can't quite get it. She is going to go through transformation. She already is at the parts that I'm in, and I'm rooting for her, and hopefully all the reasons of why the Lunarians come will get answered, because I'm just hooked on that part. Also finding out why the sensei is a little suspicious, not gonna lie, even though he's like the father figure. Watch next month's video if you want to see my full review, because I'm going to finish this month. That is the goal. But so far, solid start, would recommend. Third read that I started is actually in manhwa, and it's actually a spicy one. Be warned, there is a R19 rated version of it. It's called The Broken Ring. The story follows Inez, a noblewoman who has lived multiple lives and remembers the tragedies that occurred in each one. Determined to avoid repeating these painful outcomes, she tries to manipulate her future, particularly her arranged marriage to Carcel. Although the relationship appears doomed, the story gradually reveals the emotional complexities behind both characters. The story blends historical romance with themes of reincarnation, regret, and the challenge of changing a fate that seems predetermined. This one, I just like the main couple. Carcel is such like a green flag, and Inez is just a badass. And I always love like a story that has kind of like the chibi, funny like expressions, and this is one of them. Yeah, Carcel is just like your like soft boy, like, but like his body is banging, very muscular. But yes, like I said, this is a mature one. Spicy, but not like overly too much. There's just a couple of chapters every now and then. I just want to know what's gonna happen with Inez, because Inez is just like such a pretty character too. Like, I just love the artwork of it. But I think it does like a great job with the story. I was itching for a reincarnated transgression kind of story, and this just kind of like fixed my itch to read one. And Inez is just such a badass, and I just feel for her for all her past lives and the traumas she experienced between those, and she just wants to like get by, and she feels like this is a way. So I can't wait to get further in the story and see them like fall in love, because right now she's just like, I just need to produce an heir, and I just need to get out of this relationship and get a divorce. So I can't wait to see that blossom into love. So Broken Ring, I'm gonna keep reading it. It's still an ongoing series, but recommended if you're looking for historical romance with spice. Next, wanted to touch on a couple reads that I've been continuing. I'm almost caught up. I think I'm caught up in some of the series. So we have, oh my gosh, they're mixed up. So let's start with Nina the Starry Bride because I only read one volume. So I read volume number 11. Nina the Starry Bride does have an anime adaptation. Nina the Starry Bride follows Nina, an orphan girl where rare star-colored eyes lead her to be chosen as a royal stand-in for a deceased princess. Thrown into palace politics, Nina must learn how to survive in a dangerous royal court while pretending to be someone she isn't. As she navigates alliances and rival kingdoms, she becomes entangled with powerful princes whose loyalty and motives are not always clear. The story mixes political intrigue, romance, identity struggles as Nina grows from a powerless girl into someone capable of shaping her own destiny. Nina the Starry Bride has the ultimate love triangle where I have no idea what team I'm on. When it came to Twilight back in 2010s or whatever, I knew I was Team Edward. But here, between our white-haired, red-eyed prince and our black-haired, yellow-eyed king, I have no idea who I'm cheering for. I don't know who I want. But I'm gonna recommend this. If you're looking for some romance with, like I said, a love triangle that you are not sure, I do want to know if you've read this or have watched the anime, which team you're on. It's good. Like, I like the artwork, I like the story, and I like the mystery, and I want to know how this is all going to be concluded because I kind of really don't know where it's going, like in terms of how this is going to end. Will Nina end up with one of them? Will she just be her own woman? Will they just die? Somebody die? Who knows? So I'm gonna keep reading this one. Recommend it if you're looking for a romance. My next continued read, and I actually read more than I thought, The Eccentric Doctor of the Moon Kingdom. I read through 4 volumes of it. It centers around a brilliant eccentric and an unusual doctor. Through treating patients with rare illnesses and complex conditions, the doctor uncovers hidden stories about the people she helps. Alongside the medical cases, the narrative develops interpersonal relationships and emotional growth between characters. The series blends medical drama with character-focused storyline and moments of quiet romance. This is a great read, especially if you like the Apothecary Diaries. It's not quite the same, but it's very, very familiar. Mao Mao and Koyu are definitely not similar in terms of Koyu is the more outgoing, kind of loud main girl, whereas Mao Mao is like the more quiet, reserved style. But they are both like that eccentric, very smart female lead, and both have a love interest who is in the royal family. So if you like a doctor version of what you see in Apothecary Diaries, this one is also a lot more political than Apothecary Diaries. But they also do a great job of explaining the medicine, similar to a medical drama. Like, they'll have diagrams of explaining like, oh, this is what happens in the body when this issue is happening. And it goes through like trying different things or trying different methods before finding the actual method of curing her patient. Read this if you want a political, medical kind of story. Lastly, we have A Sign of Affection. So like I said, Shortcake, Cake, and A Sign of Affection, I'm reading both of them, or I read them both this month, and they're from the same mangaka. A Sign of Affection also has an anime. So this is further than what the anime has right now. So A Sign of Affection follows Yuki, a deaf university student whose world is limited to the spaces she can easily communicate within. Her life changes when she meets Itsumi, a well-traveled and curious student who becomes fascinated by both her and the way she experiences the world. As the relationship grows, Itsumi begins learning sign language to better communicate with her. The story focuses on communication, empathy, the gentle development of their romance while exploring how different people experience connection and understanding. And it's getting so good. Like, this is just my like wholesome soft romance read where I just want lovey-dovey stuff, like no real drama, just like cute romance. And they're in college, so it's like an adult, I guess, romance more than like a high school one. Yeah, like I recommend this. I do like this more than Shortcake Cake. And at first, you know, I'll be honest, Itsumi kind of give me kind of creepy vibes, like creep or cute vibes. And luckily he's good looking, so we let it slide. He is like very kind-hearted to her, and there is no like ill intent, and you can see that as you keep reading the series. So this one, recommend if you want like a soft, wholesome romance. Okay, so just wrapping up, my favorite of the month will have to go to Demons of the Shadow Realm. Did not expect to like this one so much. For my pick that I did not expect, I know this sounds kind of weird, but it is Fruits Basket. I just had very low expectations for it because I just thought it was going to be overrated because I didn't really like season 1. But I get it now. Like, it is one of my favorites. For what I'm watching or reading next, the big thing is I am doing another themed month. So for anime watching for the month of March, I'm doing like a mecha anime. I haven't watched a lot of mecha. I've watched some of Code Geass, Attack on Titans, if you consider Attack on Titans a mecha, because I know some people do, some people don't. Neon Genesis Evangelion. I haven't explored too much of that genre, so I'll be watching that. I've already watched 3 of them. Anime Watch Club for March was 86. So if you want to participate in Anime Watch Club in subsequent months, check out my Discord. I'll have the link below. So let me know if there's any things from my list that you've read and you just want to talk about. I'm always also on Discord, but I also check out my YouTube comments, and I'll see you next month. Bye.